Every so often, a game barrels down history's tracks like an unbraked steel coaster, rattling the zeitgeist while hurling our collective lunch into the shrubbery below. RollerCoaster Tycoon is exactly that brand of software ride, a seemingly wholesome park simulator that secretly teaches you advanced civil engineering, pop economics, and the dark art of path-based crowd control, all while you giggle at pixelated guests face-planting into puddles of neon vomit. Is it bizarre or classic? Both. Bizarre because one Scottish programmer coded 99% of it in raw x86 assembly. Who does that outside of sentient calculators? Classic because it distilled every build, manage, prosper fantasy into an isometric diorama charming enough to distract you from the Smurf Blue UI. Underrated. Not with 4 million copies sold, yet still undersold as a master class in player psychology. Overrated? Only if you think joy itself is overrated, in which case the exit is to your left. Mind the puke-tiles. Fundamental? Absolutely. It's the coaster-clacking backbone of every simulation buff's nostalgia nerve. Negligible? Tell that to the decades-long steam of YouTubers still racing to murder 1,200 peak duplicates named Guest One. Rhetorical question, are we bad people for trapping diners in endless queue mazes? Self-answer, the game rewarded us in profits. Clearly capitalism absolves all. Historical context, spring 1999. The Matrix bullet-timed multiplexes, Napster prepared to jailbreak our MP3 collections, and Windows 98 chugged along in glorious 800 by 600. Into this arena rolled RollerCoaster Tycoon, developed almost single-handedly by Chris Sawyer, already known for Transport Tycoon, and published by Hasbro Interactive's Microprose label. It arrived on 22nd March in North America and 12th April across Europe, sporting a box that promised design and operate the ultimate theme park. Sawyer had begun prototyping in 1996, allegedly intending a sequel to Transport Tycoon before the siren song of corkscrews hijacked his brain. Over 3 caffeine-drenched years, he wrote virtually the entire engine in hand-tuned assembly. By Sawyer's own estimate, about 99% of all code, and then licensed Simon Foster's cheery pixel art plus Alistair Brimble's MIDI-fueled earworms to finish the job. The timing was perfect. Bullfrog's theme park, 1994, had introduced silly AI and balloon price gouging, but never captured true coaster physics. Maxis's mighty SimCity 3000, January 99, scratched the urban planner itch, yet felt sterile beside an amusement midway. Meanwhile, Tycoon fever brewed. Railroad Tycoon 2, Pizza Tycoon, even Lemonade Tycoon would soon colonize store shelves. Microprose needed a hook. RollerCoaster Tycoon became the ticket. My local XP arcade, half cafe, half land dungeon, dedicated a Pentium II station to the demo. You could hear teenage gasps each time a digital mine train crested its 30-pixel lift hill. The clerk, high on Mountain Dew, quipped, "One guy coded this. I can't even code my pager." Sales followed. 700,000 copies in '99 alone, $19.6 million revenue, eventually rocketing past 4 million worldwide. Personal flashback, I grabbed the big box edition with coupon money, lugged 4 CDs of casual shareware out of the bargain bin as ballast, and immediately discovered that RollerCoaster Tycoon, unlike every other title in that haul, ran butter smooth even on my crusty Cyrix 200. While classmates fretted over Columbine-prompted FPS bans, I was busy toggling path grid lines, hypnotized by squeaky clean isometric sprites. Sawyer's assembly obsession meant the engine guzzled maybe 8 megabytes of RAM, file size thriftier than a single Diablo 2 sound bank. In an epic when bigger equaled better, here was a lightweight miracle, humming along like a Swiss watch. Mechanics, boot the game, and you're greeted by a jaunty Brimble fanfare. Call it the spiritual cousin of every county fair organ ever recorded, while a carousel of introductory scenarios slides across the menu. Forest Frontiers, Bumbley Beach, Dynamite Dunes, each brandishing unique land rights, financial constraints, and marketing gimmicks. Tutorials? Puffer. A short help blurb, then the game stands aside and hands you the keys to a sprawled out sandbox. Rhetorical, drowning newbies. Self-answer, yes, but they'll enjoy the view. At its core, RollerCoaster Tycoon marries 3 systems in holy coaster money. 1, construction sandbox. Everything snaps to a crisp isometric grid, from candy-striped footpaths to monorail struts. Click drag to terraform hills, lay track, or carved lakes with godlike impunity. But Sawyer, cunning devil, restricts verticality to quarter-tile increments. Just enough granularity to birth towering helixes while still allowing his assembly loops to treat elevation as byte-tight integers. Second, second-guessed AI ecosystem. Peeps wander, evaluate hunger, thirst, nausea, wallet thickness, and cue patience in real time. They vomit if lateral G-forces exceed 2.8 G for more than 3 seconds. They drop litter where bins and benches lapse. They boycott overpriced umbrellas. They're basically Tamagotchis with credit cards. A particularly nasty scenario, Mel's World, spawned the infamous enclosed maze exploit, where players corrugated queue lines into Sisyphean spaghetti, trapping guests just long enough to hit satisfaction targets before they starved. Morally dubious? Perhaps. Mechanically brilliant? Undeniably. Third financial and research meta. Loans accrue interest. Ride tickets and stall prices toggle on the fly. Staff wages siphon profits if you overhire janitors. Meanwhile, the research panel ticks away, once per in-game month, unlocking new shop types, ride categories, and park amenities. Want looping coasters early? Reallocate R&D funds toward thrill rides, and pray to the random seed gods. The crown jewel, of course, is the coaster designer. Select Build Custom Design. Pick your track style, wooden, steel mini, suspended, then sculpt miracles one segment at a time. Slopes hinge between 30 degrees, 45 degrees, steep, vertical, or corkscrew. Bank curves tilt to reduce lateral G. Block breaks and on-ride photos squeeze extra dollars. In the pre-YouTube era, word of mouth carried tales of unstoppable death machines. Ramrod drop into flat turn, greater than 6.0 lateral G, guaranteed derail. Cue giddy players testing crash physics by launching trains off unfinished loops into ponds. The game's not so subtle message, physics matters, but Schadenfreude sells tickets too. Just disable show guest fatalities in your conscience settings. My personal absurd leitmotif is the puke-tile paradox. Each time a guest empties their pixelated guts, a spirograph swirl stains the path. Janitors, pathfinding challenged yet cheap, must sweep it, else nearby guests wince and docking station your park rating. The paradox? Observe puke begets more puke. Crowds bottleneck behind the mire, their nausea rating rises. They vomit too, spawning exponential green whirlpools until the walkway resembles an abstract Jackson Pollock. The only fix, chain janitors along that stretch like human Roombas. Watching your 1999 CPU allocate cycles to puke propagation feels equal parts hilarious and horrifying. Modern epidemiology in a 32-bit theme park. Compared to contemporaries, RCT's interface was Spartan but tactile. Theme park drowned players in bounce castle menus. SimCity demanded side panel mania. RCT slid everything into minimalist floating windows you could pin anywhere. Need to tweak ticket prices mid-ride? Click the tiny pound icon directly atop the gate. Want to inspect Guest 42's thoughts? Double-click his sprite and a notebook pops open, revealing his hunger index and complaint that I'm not paying that much for a burger. It's the progenitor of UI contextualization we laud today. See Planet Coaster or Cities, Skylines, but accomplish sans GPU-intensive overlays. Under the hood, pathfinding employs flood-fill algorithms tuned to integer coordinates, producing uncanny emergent behavior when you combine footpaths with transport rides. Build an elevated monorail bridging two halves of the park and watch traffic distribute like a SimCity congestion heat map. Add a crooked path stub on ground level, and guests will jam like lemmings into a cul-de-sac. Sawyer essentially programmed an ant farm inside your amusement empire, then handed you the magnifying glass. Scenario objectives escalate, grow park value, hit X guests by year 3, maintain ratings while cash negative. But players quickly discovered meta strategies. Free park plus paper ride and low-income maps. High entry fee plus free rides and island scenarios. Micro-pricing bathroom stalls at 20 cents because bodily autonomy is a luxury. Online forums erupted with spreadsheets calculating optimal popcorn markups and ride throughput. RCT became a secret econ class disguised as pixel art. 2 official expansions, Corkscrew Follies, 1999, and Loopy Landscapes, 2000, piled new scenarios and rides onto an already monstrous sandbox, plus extreme heights scenery for would-be architectural show-offs. Yet Sawyer's codebase remained assembly tight, to the point that modders in the 2010s reversed engineered the entire game into OpenRCT 2, adding online multiplayer, 4K support, and real-time map edits without rewriting the simulation core. Show me another 1999 title that hops into 2025 Discord servers with 0 DLC upsell, and I'll show you a unicorn on rollercasters. Legacy and influence, commercial clout aside, RollerCoaster Tycoon seeded design philosophies across 2 decades. Frontier Development's Thrillville, EA's SimCoaster, even Zynga's Coasterville all riff the same build queue profit loop. More poignantly, Frontier's own David Braben co-developed RCT3 with Sawyer's Blessing, translating isometric charm into full 3D and adding ride cameras, a direct line from assembly roots to VR coaster mods. Yet the original's assembly mystique looms largest. Sawyer's code became legend. Magazines lauded his 30 FPS sprite engine, outperforming early 3D acceleration. Lecture halls cite his memory-safe pointer arithmetic as case study in low-level optimization. The romance of one man, 1 million sales resonates among indie devs who still open Notepad++ at 3 AM, chasing similar lightning. The cult of the single dev auteur includes Stardew Valley, Papers, Please, but Sawyer rode that track first, complete with rattle, lift hill chain, and triumphant station breaks. On the community side, the game birthed a cottage industry of scenario speedrunning, hitting 250 guests in Forest Frontiers under 6 in-game days, or beating Mystic Mountain using only pre-built spiral slide spam. Twitch audiences cheer as streamers trap mascots in pits. Mascots can't die, but they spin forever, existentially. Or as they test the fabled Path to Nowhere glitch. Build a footpath into deep water, watch guests wander then disappear, raiding unaffected. Some call it cruelty, I call it emergent sociology. The game also altered my real-world park behavior. After hundreds of hours optimizing queue block segments, I visited Six Flags and instinctively tallied chain-link fence switchbacks, calculating throughput in my head. When the Viper Coaster rated via signage at 3G, I mentally converted to lateral G for RCT compliance. Nerdy, sure, but RCT sharpens spatial awareness and budgeting instincts better than half the elective courses I took freshman year. And then there's the soundtrack's generational echo. Brimble's carousel jingle surfaces as TikTok remix fodder. YouTube lo-fi channels loop Forest Frontiers BGM under Study With Me streams. Whenever Spotify shuffles to those organ hits, I swear my brain spritzes water ride mist. Pavlovian amusement memory sealed in MIDI. So why isn't RollerCoaster Tycoon hailed as loudly today as SimCity or Civilization? Partly brand dilution. Atari's later sequels stumbled. Mobile spin-offs chased gotcha whales. And Frontier's Planet Coaster stole thunder with FlexiTrack wizardry. Partly algorithmic overshadow. Social timelines favor flashy 3D time-lapses over crunchy isometric grids. Mostly though, it's the stealth factor. RCT never shouts. It hums, quietly addicting a niche of park management devotees who swear by its perfect gameplay loop well past midnight. Still, open RCT2 tournaments, Steam's Evergreen Deluxe Edition, and Sawyer's annual royalties, he claims 8-figure lifetime earnings, prove the flame persists. Engineers credit it for their career choice. Economists cite its micro-pricing lessons. Roller coaster aficionados use it to prototype real rides via G-force graphs. For a DOS-era design hiding in a 1999 Windows-only shell, that's longevity rivaling Disneyland itself. Closing paragraph plus score. So what's the final verdict on this pixelated tycoon whose puke-tiles became both curse and compass for my teenage ambitions? RollerCoaster Tycoon remains a masterclass in systems elegance, tight enough to run on a Pentium toaster, deep enough to spawn dissertations on Q theory, playful enough to let you drown clowns in a lagoon, yet disciplined enough never to crash to desktop. It's the turkey leg of simulation gaming, greasy, gigantic, undeniably satisfying, and still sold at modern fairs for double what you expected. I award it 9.5 out of 10, losing half a point because its default hot dog stall price is criminally low, and because Janitor's pre-open RCT2 pathfinding still haunts my dreams. Otherwise, strap in, chain lift engaged, and remember, if guests think park entrance is very cheap, you've probably done something diabolically right.